Yep, we're live.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, ladies. Alrighty, the Jamestown Human Rights Commission will begin here in a moment. Today is July 13, 2023, and it's just after 6 p.m. I'd like to do a call to order and roll call. We'll start with myself. Isaiah Rashad II here.
Kim Knight,
Dan Grow.
Kayla Crosby.
All right, excellent. Guys, I am excited to move on and move forward. We are achieving some pretty decent things today. But before we get into that, do we have any public comments?
We did receive an email from
Mhm.
Scott Forrester.
Okay.
I believe that was Scott. We all got that email. I believe we'll be talking about that in executive session.
Okay, all right, very good. Anything else for public comments? All right, very well. Minutes. Everybody should have gotten a copy of the minutes, right?
Electronically, and
Yes.
All right, good. Minutes approved?
do we need more enough for this? There's
I
just
don't-
more of us.
We need quorum.
Good deal.
So
Okay, so
we can
should-
table it until
table
we
that.
have quorum.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
okay, we'll table that until UV comes
Correct.
in.
Yep.
We should do a motion second and.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the treasurer's report.
Yeah, everybody should have one. That is the latest. And we thank the mayor and his staff for printing this for us. So we're down to $860.65. So this is the latest.
Okay.
Is there anything else? I haven't personally spent anything as a member. Has
I
anyone
would
else? Is there
say
anything
that,
else outstanding?
No, nothing outstanding. I was just reimbursed from, our trip to Buffalo for mileage. So that is probably down, it's probably $730 now. How much
Okay.
that is. But that would, I think, be the only,
Right. And that-
Check.
yeah. All right, so that sounds good.
So we'll have to table the.
All right, we'll have to table the treasurer's report.
Right.
All right, discussion items. Community Center debriefing.
Yes.
This is quite exciting. Now, I think Kayla was there, I was there, Kim was there.
UV.
and I think UV was there. It was an awesome turnout. I believe that last year we had somewhere around 30 to 40 people
Yeah.
show up. This year we estimated about 200.
Yes,
So it was a very good turnout for the Human Rights Commission and also for the Community Center. People seem to be pretty happy, from what I could tell.
yeah, no, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. We met Gary, we met Journey, the executive director of the
Yeah.
Community Center. And we just thought that it was a great partnership, and we were happy to work with them, keep the communication open, and that the Lucy Fest, the Lucy Comedy weekend is coming up, that first weekend in August. And myself and Isaiah said to Gary that we would be happy to volunteer, and we were bringing it back to the commission to see if they could use hundreds of volunteers, they said. So I have the website, and I believe Isaiah and I are meeting with Gary on Monday the 24th at the Comedy Center. And I would be happy to give him all of the names if you wanted to.
If you want to.
Only if you want to, it's not, mandatory, but just, they were just so kind with us, all of the printing, all of the posters, that we didn't pay for any of that, it's just,
Quite amazing,
yes.
yeah.
So if you wanted to volunteer on a Friday or Saturday,
Lucy Fest, August when?
August 4th, I believe is the Friday. Let me get my trusty
Yep, it is.
calendar out. August 4th, yes. So it would be August 4th and 5th. And they need volunteers in every capacity. I would say outside of the Reg Lene, maybe at block parties, inside the ice arena, putting on wristbands, checking IDs, crowd control, anything. So that's a good way to, if we wear our t-shirts.
Right, and the
And
big thing is, we're doing a service for them, they're doing one for us. I think it works out well. Good community service, I should say.
Right. And there will be thousands of people
Yeah,
in our community and outside of our community that we could really, it's a good way to
right. Yeah, I think it's great.
be present and be known.
Anything else for Comedy Center?
AUB, their UB has set things up for you. Just that, it went well, they got paid, and it's it was just, again, I can't say enough about the partnership.
Yeah.
It was just spectacular. Everyone, fun was had by all.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, item 2, is the Safer Jamestown Now initiative. So I just want to say, I think right now we're trying to figure out what the role of the HRC is going to be when it comes to the Safer Now. We're trying to figure out what the police are doing, and also more direct understanding from the mayor's office as far as what role we're going to really play. I can tell you that, we're real big when it comes to making sure that the community is safe. Human Rights Commission, we value the idea of being able to help people that are in need. And when it comes to this initiative, we think it's really important. We just are trying to figure out what our role is going to be. So once we have a better idea of that, we'll talk to the commission about it.
We're supposed to have a meeting with the mayor to try to get an understanding where his settings are.
Right. Last week we attended the Allen Park meeting, and Scott was there, Scott Forrester was there, and so that Allen Park meeting was from the Department of Development, but then I got talking to him because I thought, maybe this is part of Safer Now, our lines got crossed. But he said, no, that was something completely different, and that they weren't sure the direction of, what they were doing and how our partnership was going to be. But Scott said once, like you had just said, how I think they needed to meet with the mayor also and us, so maybe that we both know that the police department and the human rights need to be working together on this, but no one has gotten specific direction on when and how. But it was Scott Forrester, it was Chris Gustafson, there was a new police officer named Sally, and her last name starts with an R, and I deeply apologize, that I think, that I know were at the meeting at Allen Park, and that I believe would be wanting to work with us doing the Safer Now. And then we want to thank Michaela for getting the maps. I can give you one of those maps of the neighborhoods in Kalis. We can, if we do, like how we said, break up, and hit the ground running. So a map of the city, and there was a few larger maps that I'm sure we can get more of if you want that. So we're in the planning stages of Safer Now, it's safe to say.
Is there any, design areas now that we know of, or?
No, I don't think they know of any, and we don't.
The safer, not safer now, but the police are holding 4 of those. At each, like Bergman Park, it's in August, so
Right,
there's
Jackson
3
Taylor
more.
Park is
Uh-huh.
next week on the
The
20th, the 20th. Lillian Dixon after that, and then the last one,
You know what time?
6.
The last one
Think all
is in
of them.
August in Bergman Park.
I can get, it was on Facebook, UV, I'll take a picture of it and send it in the group chat,
Okay.
yeah,
And I believe the one that's on August 2nd, we won't make that because we'll be here.
it's a meeting, it's our,
Okay, yeah.
and that was the one at Bergman, I
Yeah.
believe.
So what you're saying is, the ones the police force is having doesn't necessarily,
It doesn't have
Connect with
anything
Safer
to do
Now.
Safer Now,
they're
this was
connecting information
with
to
the
the
Department
community.
of Development,
Are they like
yes.
people are asking questions in those neighborhoods?
They were,
Is that- okay.
yeah, they seemed to be, I mean, there were people from all over the city at the meeting at Allen Park last week, but, I would say the majority was from the neighborhood there, and they discussed, their concerns of, it was reported in the newspaper.
Okay, that's good.
about
It's like a town hall?
Yeah, we were in the
Kinda,
pavilion,
Mm-hmm.
Scott was the, is it Chief Jackson, is that, Chief Jackson was there, Scott Forrester, like I said, Chris Gustafson, and a brand new police officer named Sally, the last name with an R. Very nice, and, but, and Crystal from the DOD, and, yeah, so,
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, is that it?
yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about Monday's meeting?
Yes, on this past Monday, Isaiah and I went up to Buffalo and met with Debbie Kent, we met her over a Zoom. There's her little cardigan. I think it was very informative. We got to sit, pick her brain, see what it was like to have a paid position in the Human Rights Division for New York State. We got to see, we met her, I would say that was her receptionist that let us in, we didn't really know who that was. We saw, many of the people that do like the intake, the investigators. They were in their cubicles working, and we got to see that there's 3 hearing rooms there.
Alright, so they have a much larger operation.
Yeah, they
Yes.
have one
Wow.
full floor.
Yes.
One full
Is that the
floor.
main
One suite,
building?
yeah.
Is that what,
Yeah.
They're the regional office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have one full floor and they do everything on that floor. But they're all employed by New York State. They're our district office.
I was just gonna say, if they're regional, we can use them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can connect with them anytime we want to.
Yeah, anytime that we have a complaint, it goes to them.
It goes to them, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
What was interesting is that everything is done virtual. The hearings are virtual. She said that everyone, after COVID,
That's cool, yeah.
they've all, and so they have these beautiful hearing rooms
Yeah,
and, just a lot of space.
yeah, a lot of space. They're making everything go paperless.
That's right.
So, we have like they're not saying that they don't take anything hard copy. They're just saying that they're trying to transition to the paperless
Mhm.
form complaint. And for us to remember that we can go online to file nearly every complaint except for one. And it's all like, the way it works online is it's all bubble insert. So everything will come up and you can just type everything right there, it's nice and clean, and then once you hit send, it goes right to their office, and Debbie, she's the one that will investigate all of it. So it was really, really quite interesting.
And she's
Which
been,
one can't you send?
It is one involving housing, because the housing investigators are in the Bronx, and there was something specific with the housing. So there's housing that we can send, like if there's a housing issue, we can obviously see what the form is, but there's a part of the housing that we cannot, that is not on there, and I can't really remember
No,
what she
I
said
don't.
it's called.
Okay.
But once again, that's not confirmed, because since that meeting, I haven't even tried to go on and see which is it that we can't submit.
Well, because we asked her for pamphlets or anything to bring back, and the only thing she could give us was her cards, because she said it was all going paperless.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, we're old, we like papers, and wanted to get.
And
So they have websites and so forth,
It's just all that, yeah, the New York State.
the New York State,
Mm-hmm,
and you have to find the local district or whatever.
mm-hmm.
so, and also, you can submit a complaint in 7 different languages.
Yeah, the top 7, yeah,
Top 7
mostly
languages.
used. Mm-hmm.
So that was a really good thing as well. And if we need, let's just say that we needed someone to interpret a complaint, they have that service up there that we can use. So we contact her, and then we'll go through the process of having an interpreter.
She said anything about training?
Attorneys?
Training?
Oh, training? Not much.
No, that we asked for that, yeah, the housing units in the Bronx.
Yeah. Really, she seemed to be somewhat disconnected from that part of it, but we did some research and we're seeing that the training, it's in the Bronx or it's in Albany, and it's so many different things. Training in every aspect of human rights, but all the training costs quite a bit.
Really? Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
quite a bit of money. But
So anybody can file a complaint then, a citizen or us or any, that's how it works? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that might be helpful when we have brochures, to make sure people can have access to that.
To
How
that
to file,
website,
yeah,
so.
how to file a
Mhm,
complaint.
mhm. And then, but also that, she said that a lot of training also has moved on to virtual. When we get those emails from Michaela, maybe
Yeah.
once a month,
Mhm.
yeah, and it does seem to all be virtual. But she, like Isaiah was saying, she did say though that they travel to the Bronx, and that Debbie has been in her position for 23 years. So she doesn't really travel to the Bronx as much as she did 20
and-
years ago.
And just an FYI, the Bronx location is the headquarters for the state,
Okay.
Human Rights Commission. Yeah, it was pretty good. A couple things I wanna mention, when we were down there, we were able to see some of the homeless situations that were down in Buffalo, and, did you wanna comment on this at all?
Well, you can, yeah.
So I'll just say that we're not as bad as what's happening up there.
Oh, sure.
It was pretty
Mhm.
bad up there. People laying in the grass. One lady, we thought that she was dead, and an ambulance was coming down the road, and we thought they were coming for her. They just went right past her. And I walked over to her, and she was still alive, but she
She was just
laying
like, just asleep right across from the
Just-
Greyhound bus.
there. Yeah.
Oh, wait for downtown.
Right, yes,
I
many,
mean,
yeah.
and it was happening. You could see it in different areas of downtown. I think here in Jamestown, we're handling things pretty well when it comes to that. Also, a note: we noticed that a lot of the churches down there were closed up. Gated where people couldn't get in, or the doors were just locked. I think that's something that's increasing throughout the country, actually. A lot of churches are starting to not keep their doors open. And we also went over to the social services division in Erie, and it was packed. People were outside, around the corner,
Just trying to get in.
trying to get in, going for services, a couple arguments. I've never seen anything like that before. So things things are bad up there. I think it's in most major cities, they're dealing with the same situations. I'm talking to some of my friends in different parts of the country. They're seeing the same things or worse. I think here in Jamestown, we're fortunate that we have people like ourselves that are involved and trying to minimize that type of impact. So, just one of the
I think the bigger the cities get, the bigger the problems get. When I was in New York City, I seen the homeless and all that. You know, I'm in a nice hotel, downtown New York, and you see them on the street. You see them sleep on the street. You see they go to the bathroom on the street. All that stuff. You know, and in
Yeah.
bigger cities, it's not common. I'm surprised here that Buffalo's getting worse. But then it's trickling back to us, so the overall problem is huge.
Right.
But there really are, there were pockets of hopefulness. You know, with Debbie, we
Yeah.
walked into the Greyhound, the bus terminal, and then we walked up to a clerk,
Yeah.
and he asked her, are there homeless people, staying in the terminal, or how would you do to help? So, she said that they had set up like an office, and it was Matt Urban,
Yeah,
that
Matt Urban.
he was not in the office when we were there.
Yeah, Matt Urban is the organization that deals with the homeless in Buffalo, and they're big time. Like, you want them to be involved. And I've done some work with them over the years. When I saw that they finally have a hub there in the station, it made me really happy. And you could see that they are making a difference, because the Greyhound terminal used to be bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look as bad.
No.
It doesn't look as bad anymore because they're in there. So I just thought that was a really positive thing. However, we were told that earlier that day there was a big fight that was in the
Yeah.
terminal. But they have the transit police or the NFT
Yeah.
police there, and then Matt Urban's there. So I mean, they're making a significant impact. Looks a lot better to be in there now.
Right, and it seemed, and she said that then if that Matt Urban and the homeless hub wasn't open, but someone needed, a bus ticket or something, then the transit police would help, and they would hopefully get them, if they needed to get out of town or get somewhere, they would provide that with
Yeah,
them.
so-
There were avenues,
We've had situations recently where people were homeless, but they were from another city, and they were trying to get back to this other city, and it's like, how do you deal with that? Well, Buffalo figured it out by having the police help with them getting from point A to point B. So I thought that's really good.
right.
All right, very good. Anything else?
No, just that Debbie said, give her a call anytime. That's why she gave us those cards. She was very helpful. We told her, that we're trying to do a lot of outreach. She said that herself there's other, she does network with everyone else, but sometimes they're kind of like a second thought to be invited to things. And then she tries to do that, just like anything, it's not all.
Now, how does the Citizens Council, because me and Billy met with Jason Whitaker, I believe, remember last July 7th? We did an event, and they're part of this Buffalo, it's like ours, but it's called Buffalo Citizens. But they must fall under,
No, they don't.
No,
That's
they
a
don't
whole
fall under that.
separate
Oh, isn't that
private group.
interesting?
Is that when you helped with tops and you
Yeah.
distributed
We
the
did,
water?
and that was put on by several organizations, but
I don't know why they directed you that well.
isn't
I
that
think they
interesting?
directed
So
you
that's
that
not
way,
the same thing.
But I was looking for you guys to connect with her.
That is good.
But
She's,
that's alright.
so I think, but I think if we keep the lines of communication open with Debbie, she was more than happy. I mean, she just sat down with us, offered us bagels,
Yeah.
sat just a nice woman.
Nice, very nice.
Yes.
She's probably glad to hear there's an entity up here.
Right, yeah, cause she said, oh, I remember talking to you on a Zoom, and I said, yes, because, you know, I had her name written down on that one piece of paper, and, yeah, so I think she's just more than willing, if we have questions, she'd be a good resource to at least say. Because she did say, when she first started, she was working in the Harlem office, correct?
That's right.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Yeah, so she's seen a few things, I guess.
yeah, mhm.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, fantastic. All right, guys, item number 3, the budget.
Bum, bum, bum.
We have any
So-
copies? Or you did?
Oh, like that you,
Yeah, I printed them out, I gave a couple to you, but we don't have.
remember Dan came up with a budget that he wanted to do, I think I have it on
Oh,
my
yeah, dude.
phone.
I have it, I sent it to a lot of you,
Mhm.
it's right here. I
Oh,
printed
do
new
you
ones
have
and emailed it, but we have $7,000 if you wanna.
Well, that's what, yeah, you were
Yeah.
thinking, but then
Oh, yeah.
I think this was the whole thing for this budget, we were gonna try to all discuss, that's why we were hoping everyone would be here to
Mhm.
like,
That's the one we edited, that moment, and then I resent, some of you. I may have sent it to everybody, I'm not sure.
I am. Well, we were just
And that's the
brainstorm, I
latest
mean,
one.
I think we need to just honestly brainstorm,
Mm-hmm.
right, moving? You know, we have this July
Mhm.
and August, and I have some notes that I think I gathered from everyone about the budget, you said 7, so.
So, I think that I'm gonna try to push for 10. And the reasoning behind it is we have a lot of different events that are coming up, and
There's no event line on here.
Right, that was Dan's, yeah, this, I have some other notes from what we were talking about.
so we have a lot of events coming up, and we have to consider things that are miscellaneous that could come up, plus events that we're gonna want to put on, okay? So, I'm gonna argue, and I plan to argue that we need 10 to the council. But in order for me to do that, we have to go through the list of proposed items that we would need the money for, and make a vote on that here before I can go to them and say, hey,
Mhm.
we really need this money for next year. And I believe they allocate the money to us in December, I think the end of December, it's not
January, it goes into effect January 1st.
January 1st.
January.
But they wanted it by September.
Right.
They want,
Mhm.
yeah.
They have to vote on it by December 1st.
They have to vote December 1st, so.
By
By December 1st.
Before, so by November 1st.
So you would be arguing in September, October, November?
So,
They don't get it till October.
They won't get it until October. Okay.
so,
How much would we consider for events?
Okay, I've got a little, yeah, I just wrote something, this is just, we're just thinking. Swag, we need to replenish the swag, you know, more pamphlets, more everything, 1,500.
You wanna see, we have 2.
Okay, oh, okay, well, here, we'll
Yeah.
make lots of notes, because then we still have August to,
We ask high and see what we
see,
get.
yes.
that's,
Right, we had said travel now, 2,500, in case there is that training.
Oh, look, we have that in there,
Okay,
when we met, so we wanna add it back.
yes, I would say travel 2,500. Isaiah's idea, and I think UV had said this also, and then we put the amount of 2,000 to have some money for legal fees to get people started. Okay,
Yeah, there we go.
okay, there, I'm saying 2,000,
Yeah, so legal, yes.
and let me talk about that just real quick. So the idea behind the legal fees is, it's not to give one person, say, $2,000. It's not for that. It's actually for 4 people to get $500 as a retainer, if they cannot afford it. Now, the commission has to come up with what the parameters would be for someone to be able to receive those funds, but the funds do not go to that individual, like check to hand, it'll actually go to their attorney. to pay for their retainer for, up to $500. That gives the commission the ability to help out the community, to get them started into their legal process. And this is something, guys, that I'm telling you, I'm very much passionate about this, because there's a lot of people that need justice and they just simply do not have the funds to get them going.
No,
So you're saying 2,000?
I'm saying 2,000, but each individual would get 500. So it'd be 4 people we would be helping out every fiscal year.
And how much for events?
I said events, 2,000. We were just kind of coming up with things to equal 10,000, but this is all
That's more than 10,000.
Mhm.
What's the difference
Oh, wait,
between
I've
the
got-
events and
You have
promotion?
supplies, you got rid of
2.
supplies.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just hit,
So we have 8,000 there?
let's see what. I have travel and swag, that's 2, 3, 4.
That's 11,000.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, well then I don't know how I'm off then, but it
Well,
is
ones,
math.
so you have legal, events, travel, swag, that's all you've told us so far. What
Okay.
else do you have, Kim?
Miscellaneous, which miscellaneous could be, the sponsoring of the Juneteenth movie, unless that goes into events, miscellaneous, what was anyone saying, I
Yeah,
know, it was a
maybe-
moment on.
Maybe we can do the events and have more money allocated for that.
I've been told that miscellaneous should only be like 10% of the full budget, so if we're asking for 10, it should only be 1,000.
Okay,
Yes.
so, okay,
We got
that's good.
500 for that, yeah.
You have, okay, that's,
All right.
okay, Mr. Treasurer, add up.
Well,
Just-
What are you
I
saying?
have more, we have to narrow it down. We have swag, then you have promotional. What
We're
are we
getting rid of
defining as
promote.
promotional?
We're getting rid of promotional, putting event
We're
instead of that maybe.
promotional.
You doing events instead of promotion?
Just do
Mhm.
events.
Okay.
And instead of education, travel.
Well, educate,
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's all gonna be
education,
included.
travel, education would be training, education would also
education
equal
slash travel.
Education
travel.
could be also us training others.
Right, that's what I'm thinking,
So
cause
you-
that training, I don't know, when we just looked, what was some was like $745 a day.
So
And
education and travel together.
Yeah.
Yes, because wouldn't education be us being trained, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking,
Okay.
is that, that
Alright.
we're educating ourselves.
Miscellaneous.
So I have swag,
Event.
education, supplies.
No more
Now, with
supplies.
supplies, would that be, that's not,
I
that's separate from swag, right?
Mhm.
Supplies and miscellaneous kind of
Miscellaneous.
And that
Yeah.
can only be 1,000 then, Kayla, you said miscellaneous should be
typically how
10%,
Budgets.
okay.
Oh, then you got Juneteenth. You wanna keep
Well, no,
that?
I just
Oh.
have, well, I
That's an
think,
event.
yes, Juneteenth, that's our event of the movie. If the movie was 425 this year, we should at least allocate 500. I,
Yeah,
but
'cause
just
we're gonna
in
do it
sponsored
next year.
city events, that we would be
So,
in sponsored.
I have swag, event, travel and education, miscellaneous, and legal. 5, 15, 2, 25, 1,000, 2,000. Is
Okay,
that what you're thinking?
so add that up, Dan.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, 2, 2,
3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
8, 9. That gives us
You
9.
could just take a 500 somewhere.
And now with events, how much was for events?
We
2,000.
said 2,000,
Let's
we
put-
could go
let's put
15,
three.
oh, 3.
Let's put
Put
three.
3.
Yeah. That'll give us 10, right? Because,
That's
We're
10.
gonna-
That's perfect.
okay.
So, copy that and then
Now, what, we have run that for me again, 2,000 for swag,
Who's got it right now, Kayla?
She's,
He was
We're doing whole school.
1,500, so two.
15?
So swag is 1,500, events is 3,000, travel and education is 2,500, miscellaneous 1,000, and legal 2,000.
TV and
Now, we're asking for 10,000.
If we're all in agreement, this was just kind of like all, you know, from all of our conversations that we've had.
Okay, now, understanding they gave us 3,000, how do we justify 10?
I'm gonna argue.
Well,
Look at how,
all the subcommittees don't have a budget. And there's some kind of fundraising or whatever for them to get their first grant, whatever. And so we're gonna have to really figure out how to justify this budget.
well,
I
I think,
I think I could justify it.
I would switch the category of swag to promotional,
okay,
because that's more professional than saying swag.
Yeah.
Swag's not something that's necessary, but promotional items is.
okay.
Okay.
And I think don't you think we've done so much more in the last, yes. You know, our name's been out there, we've been at several events now.
I'm gonna figure it out.
But
I
they would
understand that,
say-
but the city does not have a budget and they have a budget limit. And we'll have to figure out how to justify this and where is this money gonna come from.
I'm gonna figure
That's
it
the
out.
question that's gonna be
I'm
asked.
gonna figure it out, UV. I'm gonna.
Cause right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, the only reason we got money is cause the mayor allotted some to us out of his budget.
Okay. All right.
And you
I'm
know
gonna-
what, we'll just,
I'm gonna
Make do.
figure it out somehow.
I mean, so if there's any way of, granting some of this or some kind of fundraising.
What was that grant that we had submitted for previously? That was for 6,000.
yeah, and
We didn't get it either.
Yeah, but is that something that we could reapply and maybe have the grant writer for the city assist with that? Cause I
So,
think we
I don't know,
submitted that.
I'm just saying that we probably need to begin to investigate those type of things. And even talk with the city grant writer, see
That's
what's
what I'm thinking,
available.
yeah.
So I spoke with the grant writer recently.
Mhm.
There are several grants that are gonna come available here, I believe on the 15th. So she is gonna be applying for some of those for us. Hopefully that will give some relief or even some extra, but obviously there's no guarantee. And
Right,
I believe there was, could be wrong, I believe there were 6. There were 6 different grants that we qualified for. Unfortunately, I do not have that with me right now, but I have access to it.
Well, that's great then, that helps justify what we're asking for. And, we need to, put together a report of what we've done so far to submit to them.
Yes, here they are, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yep, here they are right here. So those are the grants that we qualified for, I believe, next week we'll be able to start applying for. And I will reach out,
And some of these grants are large enough for us to,
do whatever they're.
and that is who came to our table at the
Yes.
flag raising,
Yes.
yes.
So I spoke with her a couple months ago about the training and stuff. She gave me this after some talks with her, and then she came back up to us 2 weeks ago and said that she's ready and prepared to do this. So we do have some money coming, guys. Not
good,
sure how
so we
much.
have a strategy for them and then,
Because
they'll
I
be
don't
more
believe
comfortable.
we're allowed to fundraise and
Yeah, we
keep the
can't.
money
Yeah, we can't
ourselves.
do it unless we're giving the money to somebody from other.
Right, that's how it works.
Okay.
You know? So that's good.
But, so I would assume now for this, if this is the budget, do we want to vote on this now, or we wanna see more,
Feel for?
we do,
I think that's fine to vote on it.
that this
And I
is what
print
the
it out, I
budget
can
that
send
we
it out
would
to everybody.
submit.
I'll motion for a $10,000 budget to be submitted to city council.
I'll second. All in,
Okay.
Aye,
aye,
I'll reprint this up and email it to everybody.
okay.
I'll give it back to Mary.
And so then we do that, we send it to.
Can I keep that copy?
Mayor, yeah, go ahead, I've got other copies. Do you want another copy?
Yeah, can I
Frank?
see one, please? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Very good.
Alright. You guys want to continue down the list, or let's go up to the approval of minutes? So we have music movie here.
Oh, right, and
Okay,
the
so
treasurer's report.
Alright, approval of minutes. I don't know, everybody, I believe, you emailed.
I emailed
Yeah, we
the
have those
minutes.
a while
Do you
ago.
need a copy of the minutes, Yubi? Would you like a copy? I have them.
Yeah.
I
I have to get caught up on everything.
Yes, okay, that is totally okay. And Dan, would you like them in Kayla or no?
I got one
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Okay,
Well, you brought a little,
this is our rolling
Okay,
office
that
that
stays
comes
right
out
there.
of the 2021 Traverse that I drive in the back. We roll up with courtesy of my father in North Carolina, which was not in the budget. He just bought this for me. This is our traveling office, our laptop, the big, all the swag and
Wow.
t-shirts in the back of my vehicle. Lives are at stake.
can we get like, maybe we can get, what are those, maybe we could get a magnet for your car with the human rights thing when you drive around.
There you
Wouldn't
go,
that
the
be great?
the mobile office.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be cool?
You know,
Just so everyone knows that it's me in that Traverse.
yeah.
I don't think you want to do
Yeah, I was about
I
to say,
know, you
yeah, you don't wanna do that.
You don't
that.
want
I don't want
like,
everybody to see.
I
what about like the pizza thing with
Yeah, kind
Domino's?
of like
Human
baby
rights
roll.
thing on our-
Yes, with our hands. Hey, if they could wrap it and they would pay for my car note, there we go. Put it in the budget, Isaiah.
Or you get city
Uh,
plates.
There, oh,
Alright guys, so
Mhm.
the approval of the minutes.
we
I'll
digress.
make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Alright.
Okay, Dan. Okay.
Any
Oh.
questions?
Any questions on that, guys? Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Very good, let's go to the treasurer's report. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Okay. It looks like from, well, I don't know, do you wanna go over it real quick?
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, and like I mentioned before, all the budgets are produced by the mayor's office and Michaela, so they keep track, and I just ask for updates, so we have 860.65, and Kim mentioned that it's probably down to 7
so I would say 7:30 with 30 cents.
with the travel, so,
I just received, our mileage from the Buffalo. When we went to Buffalo to hear the African American history, the New York State Commission on African American History. That was what they reimbursed me for, mileage and hot
Very good.
dogs. We didn't eat
so we
fancy.
have 730 for the rest of the year, but this is good, because years past, when we first started, we didn't really have
We didn't use
any, but-
anything.
right,
No.
so we're using our $3,000
Well,
up,
that's
which is
because our name
fantastic.
is out there, we're getting somewhere. I really believe that. Good work,
All right,
Dan.
you read the report? You read the report? Is there a motion?
Yep,
I'll motion to accept the treasurer's report.
All in favor?
Motion, no question?
aye,
Yeah, no questions, yeah, no
Oh.
questions.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Thank
right.
you, Yubi. Alright, okay guys, we're gonna go down to, item number 4. Kayla or Dan?
For the JCC.
Yeah, this is
I
for
think
the
you could
GCC.
do it.
Yeah, oh, me or you,
I
or
can,
both?
that's fine.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so JCC has a grant. I believe it's a 3-year grant where
Yeah.
they're working to celebrate human rights and by hosting different events. And so on October 17th is a Tuesday, they want to host a citizenship day. A Global Perspective is the title of the event. And they would like to invite 200 high school students to Jamestown Community College. They have been in conversation with a speaker from Sinclairville, I believe, Andrew Beater, Beiter. He is a human rights activist and teacher. And so he would come and do a keynote presentation to start out. Then they want to have the students complete a scavenger hunt around campus, answering different questions. And they're going to ask various organizations, the YWCA, Journey's End, the Jackson Center, and potentially the Human Rights Commission, to attend and to be present for students to talk to as they travel to various locations during the scavenger hunt. And they would have QR codes of people who have fought for human rights in Western New York and beyond, and then have a wrap up of that and provide lunch. And then during the activity hour at the college, when the college students have their lunch break from 12:20 to 1:20, they want to host an international student panel consisting of JCC international students that would talk about what citizenship looks like across the globe. So basically comparing like the US Constitution to how things are handled in different countries. And then after that, they would introduce a poster art contest. So this event is on Tuesday, October 17th. And then starting in November, we're hoping to have a poster contest. We still have to develop the title of the contest and the specific criteria, but the first event in October would consist of high school and middle school students, and so those were the 2 age groups plus college level. And then speaking to Kim, we might include an elementary level as well. But the goal would be to give the students a few weeks to actually create a poster from a human rights lens. And then wondering if our commission would like to help come up with the criteria and then serve as a side committee of judges to actually select the top 3 pieces of art in the different age level categories. They've discussed with JCC regarding having all of the artwork displayed in the Weeks Gallery on campus. The end of November, potentially December, and we would actually have ribbons for the top 3 in each age category. And the Human Rights Commission is being asked if we would want to potentially provide budget to purchase or to do the prizes. Potentially $100 for first place, $75 for second, and $50 for third place. And so each age group would get a first, second, and third place prize. And then the conclusion of the artwork being displayed, we're hoping to have a final event on Sunday, December 15th, which is Human Rights Day. And that's when we would actually announce the winners of the contest, give the prizes, and then potentially have a speaker that has a background in human rights to share and do like a keynote at the event. And so the Human Rights Commission has the opportunity to participate on Tuesday, October 17th, help with the poster contest in November, and then be present and table on December 10th on Human Rights Day.
Do you know when it is in November? You have a date on that
As far as when the contest is gonna be, they were waiting to hear back. It would be probably over the 3 or 4 weeks of the month. And so we would have to have a deadline set by the Weeks Gallery at JCC, so we know when they need the artwork in order to have it displayed for like 2 weeks prior to December 10th. So they were waiting to hear back from the gallery as far as what date specifically they need the artwork by, which would have to be judged by.
Well, maybe,
us.
I'm thinking that's, so October 17th is the JCC event, and then the poster contest would happen in November.
Yes.
Now, November is a very small month for school.
Right.
There's a lot of parent-teacher conferences that month, there's Thanksgiving, so it seems like it's a long month, but that's really one of our shortest months. You know, for a turnaround, if you want good posters, if we could do it maybe right after that
Yeah.
October 17th.
That's what
So
we have.
on the 17th
Okay.
is when they would announce it to the
Okay,
schools that
right,
want to
okay.
participate.
It goes
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
and
'cause
then
if I
maybe-
thought if I was waiting till November,
No.
October
Ugh.
17th or November 3rd, we were
Thank you.
thinking.
okay,
You're-
okay, that would,
Yeah.
that,
So
the
then
time
in
frame.
November, we have the time to judge and then get everything displayed, because we
Oh,
want
yeah.
it displayed professionally, not just pieces of paper.
right, yeah, absolutely.
I think it'd be great for us to be judges. They want us to come up with prize money for the,
That's one of our
levels.
budget.
Yeah.
That'd be about $675.
So maybe that's a good way that maybe
That might end up
United Way
budget.
could help, or Community
well, as long as
Research Foundation.
if we don't have any other events going on, yeah, that would eat most of our budget up.
Right, because that's still what we have left,
Mhm.
and then
Give or
that would
take
be
a
gone.
hop.
But there are a lot of events that are coming up that we should be connected with.
Mhm.
Right, but they may not require money though, right?
May not.
They also said, and Kayla mentioned this, that they thought the judges shouldn't be just us, it was art teachers. This
Mhm.
may be where you come in.
Yeah,
if
I
you
could
connect
get us some
art teachers, college, high school, middle school,
Mhm.
and then we're also judges. So human rights and art teachers are gonna be the judges.
So Dan and Kayla, are you two planning on being judges for this?
We were thinking
Maybe,
if
The whole
all
team?
of us,
Yeah,
as
all
far
of
as the
us.
entire commission wanted to be
yeah,
judges,
we were thinking
and
all
that
of
there
us.
could potentially be like 2 aspects of the judging. One, as far as like the content of human rights, and then the other would be the actual art, creativity, that type of thing. And so instead of having all of us, we could do like separate judging of points that could maybe then be added together to get an ultimate winner. Because I don't have much artistic judging
Oh geez, I wonder
ability.
if the Human Rights Commission has an art.
Are you, how many of the team is available on that Tuesday? I know you're there, cause you work there.
To come to the
Yeah,
event
some
on
of us
Tuesday,
are more
the
flexible. You're in
October
school.
17th.
I
That's
am,
all
but
we
I
during
could
the
maybe
day
take a
also.
personal day, like if it could be some kind of an equity training, something
Sure.
that I could maybe work with Tamu to get.
Yeah, so it starts at 8:45 in the morning with the keynote. Then the scavenger hunt is when we could participate with the tabling aspect. That's from 9:30 to 11:15. Then there's a lunch break, and then the international panel, which I would say definitely like the keynote and the international panel would be
And
educational
then,
training.
Right,
and
yeah.
we say 3,
What's
end of school, right? Cause they'd be best.
they have to leave by 1:45.
Oh, 1:45.
Yeah, in order to bus back to
Okay.
their home schools. And so the college would work to reach out to middle schools and high schools, and it would be first come, first served
Yeah,
as
that's
far
what
as
they
the
were
first
thinking,
200
grants.
they could commit to. The grant that they received for the 3 years only has $500 attached to it, and they're supposed to progressively do more events each year
And
And so-
500 a year or
No.
500 total?
total.
Wow.
And so it's kind of absurd.
Yeah.
And so they're looking for the JCC Foundation to potentially provide the lunches, cause that's an investment, that's why they asked us to potentially do the
I
prizes.
see.
And like they just came up with those prize amounts. If we wanted to counter and say, hey, this is the budget we have, we'd be willing to commit this
Mhm.
much, they would be grateful for anything
Right.
at this point.
Right.
And that's why we thought if we were actually doing the judging, it could be nice for us to give the prizes
Mhm.
as well. But yeah,
We don't have to vote on that tonight, we
No.
can wait
No.
for Mona,
Mhm.
Billy, you know, have
Definitely.
a little more
I really
perspective.
don't see a problem with it, I just.
unless
be
there's something
conscious
else,
if something else comes up.
yeah, because technically we still have.
So does that make sense? And then maybe in the future, you and I or you or one of us could type up something a little more, bullet friendly to email
Mhm.
all of us when the date comes closer.
Yeah, I just was coming from the minutes that
That's
we
okay.
emailed
That's
out, and so we
Right,
can
I
even
think
send
you
you
had
guys.
said,
Well, look
yeah,
at
you
mine
had
compared
said
to
that.
hers.
Yeah, and I.
Yours is better, look at mine.
If in the event, if we probably did go over and did need something, depending on what it is, the mayor might consider helping us out.
Well, in one of these grants, the community foundation has a general fund grant every other month that you can apply for,
Yeah, $4,000.
for up to 4,000, yeah. I'm not sure,
Twice
twice a year,
Twice,
Yeah.
$4,000 twice a year.
however, I think, is that just for 501c3s?
I think so.
It might be, so that might be, not helpful to us. But yeah, we can maybe,
Unless a nice church wants to help sponsor.
but I,
Gosh, do we know a bishop? I don't know.
Kim, I can
I'm trying to
email
get some
you.
help from my church.
Right?
I can email you these notes, and then if you
Yeah.
wanna include any of it in our minutes, so
Okay.
that those missing can
Right.
then review it,
Are
and then
the,
we can vote.
that's great, and the international students,
Are from the
Rudy,
college.
with Rudy and
Yeah.
Deborah?
Yeah.
That's Rudy, that was there. Mm-hmm, okay, I got.
Thank you, Kevin, that was good.
And then the other item about collaborating with JCC, Dan had the idea to potentially start a Human Rights Commission club on campus.
Oh yeah, I have copies of,
Interesting.
And so,
you're all welcome
Look at you.
to, there's,
Here.
our first meeting is, this all comes from Kayla, cause she's the student life. I didn't write the date down, August 21st,
yes,
no,
Wednesday,
23rd.
23rd, yes, Wednesday
At
the 23rd.
lunchtime, we're gonna have a table, and all of you are welcome to sit with me. And if you're creative, you don't have to necessarily be part of the club, cause I'm there more than a lot of you. But maybe come up with some more,
What is lunchtime?
besides just this.
12
That's
to
at
120.
12 to 120.
On the 23rd.
Yeah. So it only takes 5 JCC students and then an advisor to start a new club on campus. And so they have to be student run, but we encourage advisors. You can have co-advisors that aren't faculty or staff from the college as long as they submit a background check. And then the club can function however the students want. And so Dan was potentially talking about like taking trips with the students, potentially inviting students to come to our meetings. When we do outreach, having students maybe come with us and table and everything. But really just having the club really focus on human rights, potentially having lectures on campus. And as a student club, you can request budget on campus too. So that's something if we were taking a trip and like the commission wasn't able to fund it, and there's a club and it was for the students could submit for a budget in order to take trips.
There's money.
That's good.
And this is a good way to, as you can see, the objective of the club, this might be a good way to dovetail with students who may be considering a career in human rights, which we know can be
And
quite open
potential
for a lot of careers.
future members for our commission.
Yeah.
You do know we have an ambassador here
As far as
from the UN.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
He came to our meeting and that
Ambassador
other,
for what?
you met him,
He's from Haiti.
from Haiti.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking.
I think we met him, Kayla,
Yeah, I did.
did Dodie bring him in that
Oh,
room,
okay.
he and his wife and his child? Did they live
Mhm.
near Love School UV? Or no?
I'm not sure where he lives
Mhm.
at. Yes, Hughes Santa. Hughes Santa. Might be good for a keynote speaker.
Okay.
So like Kayla's mentioned, you, even though maybe you would be advisor or co-advisor, we can set the meetings up late, right, anytime, it could be later in the afternoon. And then you guys could be guest lecturers up to the Human Rights Commission, maybe a student or two could come to our meetings at some time. You know, it'd be multifaceted it
Sure.
would benefit us and it would benefit the college and the students and
Great network.
they would also partner, Kayla said, with other clubs, there's other clubs.
We have a Pride Club
you
at the
know.
college, a
Mhm.
Black Student Union, what was it, the International Club.
Mhm.
So yeah, those would be good clubs to collaborate with, to hosting different events and doing lectures together.
But on the 23rd, that would be good, you guys could join if you're available, and then on the 17th, the clubs would be,
They could participate in that too.
there you go.
Yep, the 23rd is a big welcome picnic, so Campus Life has picnic food and then all of our tables are set up. Typically 30 different clubs have tables to potentially get members, and so the students come, they sign up saying they're interested, and then the advisors get that list to contact the student and set up meetings to try and actually get the clubs functioning. So it would be great as many representatives as.
Yeah, and since this is a new club, I might be sitting by myself if you guys don't come, so that's why. So, you don't have to, but, or I could get you puppets or something, right?
I think that it's really exciting. I just wanna give out one concern and reminder, and that is, I wanna make sure that our foundation here is set, that we know what we're doing,
Mhm.
how we're doing it, before we start to kind of go off rogue. And I mean that to say, I just wanna make sure that we have our policy and procedure set so that we know what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the overall sentiment is really good. I think that getting young people involved in this kind of stuff is important. And I mean, the future is ours. We're all doing great things, and you guys are doing great things, and this is a good step in the right direction.
And I agree with that. I think we need to really lock down our policies, procedures. Isaiah and I was talking about a situation just yesterday, trying to figure out how do we approach, what's going to be the procedure to approach these issues. And yeah, so there's some things that we got to lock down together. But I'm all for it. You probably count me in. I'll probably be there.
And keep in mind, this club, it doesn't have anything to do with the Human Rights Commission, so Human Rights Club is more educational, it's just that they can collaborate with, you understand what I'm saying? So as a human rights club on campus, it's educational, not the policies of the Human Rights Commission, they're not related, it's just that the Human Rights Commission could be a connection amongst many others.
Yeah, I think
That's-
so. I'm all
yeah.
for it. Yeah. So,
Very good.
all right. Really good.
More really come down. Remember.
Let's see here, guys, number 5, explores diversity training. Is this kind of how we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, I think that came out of things, diverse, like training for when we were talking about maybe, to look into for ourselves, for the city council,
Yeah,
for
the
the
city
police
council.
department, but, that might all work in with like Safer Now and things.
Yeah.
I don't believe any one of us has looked
No, but I do know, the YWCA sponsors some trainings.
Maybe with
And
Alice.
it'd be good to, with Alizé, it'd be good to connect with them.
The chief diversity officer at Fredonia is amazing, and she does trainings. She has a website, or I know I got an email a few months ago. But she's someone that could be hired to do some trainings.
At Fredonia.
She's at Fredonia, but she could travel
Mhm.
here to potentially host for us.
What's her name?
Vicky Sapp. Vicky SAPP. She's the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at Fredonia.
Does JCC have one? I think they-
We do
Okay, see, there's right there.
have one by name, but I would recommend the Fredonia training.
She did a, article not too long ago,
Vicky Sapp.
I think so.
She might have. She's wonderful. I met her during COVID. But she has a lot of different types of training that she offers.
And is she, you know if she like has anything online?
I believe so. I was looking, I believe she
If you find it. you
yeah,
can
she
forward it to
emailed
us.
me, I can forward it.
Okay.
She has an implicit bias series. Trauma is real, understanding and interpreting microaggressions, reframing and navigating triggering events, case scenarios, and intersexuality, examining concepts of privilege. That's a 3-part series that she does. And yeah.
Has she ever spoken at GCC or?
No, we've never actually got to hire her, so.
So this, some towns probably have built-in training, like, I know you and I, Kim, we work for the JPS school system, we have to do all those vector trainings.
Right.
So,
Watch
and
those
same with the
videos.
college, I've done some. So, but as far as the city council or anyone else, they don't require that, I assume.
I don't.
Cause they're online training, even it's not the greatest, but it's still something. You know what I mean? It's mandatory for us, we have to take these trainings.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Between them and like Yubi said with the YWCA, I think, and my sister-in-law had just sent me something, Jen and I were talking, and I wanna say it was called Alice Training, she said, and just to,
That's from, United Way, yeah, that was
That-
interesting.
that's it, okay, yes, of how to navigate in the city, you know, not have, it was
Well,
what Jen was talking.
that's actually a whole
Program.
program.
What Liz said that would be really good, it was what Jen was, you know, something that was near to Jen's heart, and her and I were talking, and then Liz said that would be something. So have you taken that Alice training, Yubi?
No, but, we were given a preliminary overview.
Okay,
I was on one of the review boards.
okay,
That's where it came
came
from.
from, okay. So that could be something I could look into too, maybe. Kayla, did you wanna speak with Vicky Sapp? Is that someone, do you have a relationship with her, or?
I haven't spoken to her since I originally got the information. I sent it on to the college to potentially hire her, and nothing came of it. But I do
Well, we
have
can-
her information. I'm gonna.
It'd be
Send
nice if
over.
something, this may take several years to develop, but it'd be nice if the city actually has institutionalized training, like when I was in Patterson, New Jersey, 25 years ago, the 1990s, the city actually had a year-long training on all this, even before that was the word DEI. And so each month, there's no internet in the 90s, so each month, we went for training, and then the next month a different topic, and
Just
you
let
got a
me tell you,
certificate,
though,
yeah.
Cause I asked the mayor about that, and the city's not, I don't wanna say proactive in that area.
Right, well, this city was, and you got a certificate. I don't think it was mandatory, but it was a whole year-long program. Every month you had to do a full, and this is long before the words DEI were, but that's what the training was. It was on racism, sexism, all those, one was on the
You're not
prison
hearing
industrial
me.
complex.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's
You're
good.
not hearing me.
I am hearing you, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Mhm.
what I did, whether that happens here is not,
Right,
we can't control that, but
but that would be.
that was a
something,
model that was
right.
very useful, and that's,
Mhm.
I got a lot of
Yes.
learning. And we drove down to a prison one day to look at the prison industrial complex, so it was very intentional, every month was a different topic. I think you had to pay for it and be sponsored, so, you know,
I think one of the things that used to happen that was very pleasant here in Jamestown, they was sponsored by the YWCA. They had what they called downtown dialogue, and groups would come together just to have
Really?
discussions, and that's been about 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. And that's when the whole diversity thing first came out. But that was really beneficial
Yeah.
for the city, because people actually came together and discussed things. You know, and you learned a little bit. It was, they had set topic, somebody to keep us on track, but that was very good. I would love to see that to happen again.
Who facilitated? Was it someone that worked for the city or someone outside the city?
No, that was sponsored by the YWCA, and so they facilitated that.
Oh, I see.
so that's a resource.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the high school, I don't know if JPS does it, but JCC, I don't remember the guy's name, but he sent an email that they're trying to build all the teachers in the college to build in DEI in their curriculums. And I could look up who it was, but they're going to a seminar, I think in October, November, in Albany to talk about how teachers at JCC and community college elsewhere can build that into their curriculums,
Right.
regardless of the course. And I thought that was really cool.
I
So,
think that's easier on the college level
Right.
than it is on the
Sure.
high school
Mhm.
level.
Yeah, that's something to.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right.
Well, that's good, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
Business
Business cards.
item 6, business card status. Kim, you wanna?
I would love to. We went and got a quote for Jamestown Rubber Stamp Company. Business cards are human rights business cards, one side with our logo. On the back, left blank so we could write our name and numbers like we had discussed. It is 2,000 of them, $120, and it would be a $13 standard art creation fee because then she already has our emblem, but just, what else we wanted to say on it. But that would be $133 for 2,000
That's
business
amazing.
cards. We thought that was,
and not in,
we priced in other places and Isaiah was surprised that this was cheaper. So when we
did we
thought
want
that
it in
it would be.
Spanish too, or was that something else? So-
Well, this would be, the only thing it would say really in Spanish would say whatever Human Rights Commission, and the moment I could just write that in Spanish. It was really just,
Right,
there's not a lot of text for this that I think
that's fine, okay.
Mhm,
So,
yeah.
to be clear, the only thing that's on it is the logo, Human Rights Commission, the hands, the emblem, unity, diversity, stronger together,
Mhm.
and then are we putting,
The website?
yeah, I think the website, but are we putting a phone number on there, or are we just gonna leave that blank and put our phone number?
We'll leave it blank, put our phone
Phone
number.
number
I think
on
so we need to discuss.
Right,
yeah.
and so whoever's giving out the card.
Mhm.
Right, so
Mhm.
the only thing on that card is gonna be that.
Mhm.
And is there room to put, well, we wouldn't need that unity and that in Spanish too, or we wouldn't necessarily need that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know, what do you think, Evie?
I know, for right now to get started, if it's
For right
just
now,
one.
no, I think we can print another set, maybe not as many for in Spanish if we
Mhm.
needed to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right, and then we could maybe have, it would be, I think,
But
easier for
definitely
Billy
we want
to
the
just-
website on
Right, cause it seems like we're getting some traction with this website now. Mhm.
Right, and
So-
future brochures could be both
Oh,
English
and
and
then
Spanish.
that's what Mona would be working
Yeah.
on,
Right,
but right now to
right.
get that, so, I would like to, once Kayla comes back, push on. That's okay. We talked about business cards, Kayla, we priced them, and for 2,000, it's $120 with a one-time $13 fee for the artwork and to just produce the cards, so $133 for 2,000 business cards. One side pretty much just like our shirt with the website and on the back blank so we could write our name and phone number. So I am motioning for $133 for the Jamestown Rubber Stamp Company for business cards.
It's like, there
Okay?
All in favor?
you go. Aye.
Aye.
And that,
Right.
since the, town has an account with them, and that just goes right
Yep,
out of
she's
our, that's
very,
perfect.
she's so,
Yeah.
it's so easy to work with Sherry.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
that's great, that's a good, especially for one-on-one.
that's very nice.
Because that was, the business cards was a solution for cost versus getting more pamphlets done,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So,
Right,
it's a
so we
solution.
have that.
1,000.
Yeah.
I know.
2,000?
Yeah.
And how many of us are on the commission?
8
We
Eight.
got what, yeah.
plus Scott.
Supposed to be 9,
Correct.
so we're short,
We're
gonna
short.
be short too.
Yes.
We're gonna bring on Julie. Just kidding.
So 9 was the reduced number?
Yes.
Nine.
Use the reduced number. Okay, so that,
Okay, I think that's all we have. I'd like to make a motion to go.
wait, one thing, Yuli, did you receive something from Casey Colburn that maybe we wanna give a shout out to yesterday? The Native American?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Maybe you wanna say
received
that?
a lovely flower. I called Isaiah, cause I was supposed to go to Isaiah, I guess. But it was a lovely piece, I can send you guys a picture of it.
I've got a picture of it. That's good, because Isaiah sent it to me, but it was beautiful. Isaiah and I and Momina
Yes.
were at the flag raising,
Oh, yes.
and that is, it says, can I read the card? Is that, thank you, Team HRC, for your support with the Six Nations flag raising event. It means the world to me and the indigenous families here in Jamestown. And it was from Casey Colburn, from Peapod and Juniper, which they do a beautiful job.
Hmm.
That's very nice. Mhm. So, that was a nice,
June 1st,
beautiful
right?
surprise.
Yeah.
Mhm. July 1st, yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
July
And
1st.
I'm telling you, it was
It was cool.
a fabulous event. I bet it was one of the best events I've seen down in that lobby.
It was
Mhm.
amazing.
Right here, this
It was
lot.
in this lobby, yes, it what happened in the lobby and outside also, but then it started raining, but it was just, she's a doll of a person and very committed to, her family, her culture, and bringing awareness.
It was really amazing to see, and, we were mentioning to the mayor, like, I haven't seen that much culture inside of a public building. It's been years since I've seen that, so it was really cool to see them down here, and they were, just like they were outside dancing, they were inside dancing, it was loud, it was cool, it was just really, really
Mhm.
great.
It brought people off the streets to come
Yeah,
in
people were
after when they
coming
see,
in.
mhm.
Yeah, Casey, she did an amazing job.
And they had a powwow, didn't they?
It's
That's-
this weekend.
This
Yeah.
weekend.
This
15th
weekend.
and 16th.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, and I wanna say for veterans, it's free, $10 for, all day, $10 a day, but I think you can buy a bracelet for $15 for both days. And then children, it's maybe five children, say 11 and younger, $5 each day, or else, there's like a special. But
Okay,
it's for Saturday and Sunday. I wanna say you can get there at 10, but everything mainly starts at noon and it goes all day.
And the Seneca Nation chairwoman, she said that she really would like it if everybody were able to come on the 15th, because the 15th and when they first get it going, it's really ceremonial and it's really emotional to see how everyone from the nation enters into the park for the powwow. So it's really important to have everybody there for that. So
So that would probably be 10 a.m. No, it's this weekend.
Oh.
This weekend.
I'd love to go, but I'm leaving in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be back Monday. Before we even take a motion to go into executive session, did you comment at all on the complaint?
We thought we'd do that in
yeah,
executive.
we thought we mentioned it, but we're gonna wait until executive session to talk about it.
Okay, I just wanna mention that we did receive the complaint. We do need to get more knowledge on it. And, I wanted to publicly say that because we did receive a complaint.
Okay.
And so we need to get more understanding and knowledge on that concern as how to approach it. And, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
All right,
Mhm.
well said.
Mhm.
You guys have anything else?
I make a motion that we go into executive session.
I will second.
Aye. Bye,
Bye.
Julie.
Thank you.
Aye.
And this is for you from us, UB.
Oh,
We love you, we're thinking about you.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.